back at it again with another video. And hey Goodie Gang, how are you guys doing? And before further ado, you know what I would love for you guys to do. Like, share, subscribe, and be a part of the gang. That is good. You guys could tell by the title, this story is not as funny as the others are. This is a more serious topic, and sometimes I really try to stay away from these more serious topics, but sorry, because I don't want to get very emotional about what I'm about to say. So the reason I feel like I'm like getting chills. Okay, so the reason behind why I'm telling this story is because one of my subscribers DM'd me basically asking for advice about a situation similar to my situation. And the thing is that I told her that she needs to report it to the authorities. She needs to report it to the proper authorities. She needs to report it to a family member, a friend, even your spouse, you know, your significant other. You know, tell somebody, because a lot of time when these situations happen to women, we don't say anything. And whether you are a young woman, you know, adolescent age, those are the worst times. You definitely don't say anything. So when something like this happens to you when you're a grown woman, it just is looked on as it was your fault. What were you doing? What were you wearing? Why were you there? And you know, things like, it just makes you feel embarrassed. So I told her what I told her, which is gonna stay between me and her. But that conversation that I had in the DM with a subscriber made me want to tell my story of something like that happening to me. So this is years ago. This was my first job I ever had when I used to work at Express, and I used to get really late hours. If you don't know what Express is a clothing store. They sell like classy, I would say classy clothes in there. They look pretty classy. I would get like really late hours at Express. Like I would have to be a closer, mind you. I lived 2 hours away from the location that I worked at, and I had to be a closer. I had the worst closing manager sometimes. There was 3 managers, and one that I had that was a closing manager, he was freaking horrible. Okay, and sometimes it would just be me and him in the store, and we wouldn't leave until like 1 a.m. Why are we in this store till 1 a.m.? That is ridiculous. Okay? The fact is, he did not care. Okay. I'm getting so emotional because the fact is, as a young lady, mind you, at the time I was 19. And I was in college. This man did not care that I lived 2 hours away. Noted, it's not your responsibility to care that, you know, your employees live so far away. That's their business. But it's like, damn, where's the freaking sympathy? There is none. So I in this particular night, I was closing. It was a summer night. I wore a long summer dress. It wasn't hugged on me. It wasn't fitted. It wasn't nothing I would say risque, super sexy. it just flowed on my feet, and I wore like sandals. I was fully covered. It wasn't a tight dress, even though I am, what people would say I'm curvaceous, thick, but I don't, at that time I wasn't as thick as I am now. I was a little bit smaller, but nevertheless, that doesn't even matter. So, I'm closing. We are finally done. I'm waiting on the bus. I had to take 3 buses home to get to this job. When I'm waiting, I have to wait on my first bus for at least an hour. Okay, get on my second bus. If I don't, and I had an app at the time, they had a bus app. So I think they still have, like, NYC transportation apps. I'm pretty sure of it. I had an app, and it would tell me from, like, I would put in where I lived, and how it would basically route out every single bus that I took when it was coming. So I would know when I needed to be at that next stop. So I would take the Q30. It's crazy because I remember my whole bus route. I took the Q30 from Bathurst Mall to there was like a middle section that I would get off at because it was like a shortcut. Mind you, I don't really take shortcuts, but it was so late that I was like, I'm gonna take this shortcut. Even though I don't really take shortcuts, I just go the whole long way, but it was so late, so I took that shortcut. So I took the Q30 to this like point stop, because on the app it would tell you like other buses maybe get you to your destination a little bit quicker. So I took it to this point stop, and at that stop I would get on the Q27. So I took the Q27 to Cambria and Springfield. It's crazy. It's like I'm telling you exactly where I live. And I would take it, and I would get off, and I would get on the next bus that would take me all the way to where I lived, which I lived with my grandmother. But I'm not going to tell y'all that bus, because then y'all probably find out where I live. So I would get on the next bus. And so now I took my 2 buses. I'm waiting on my 3rd bus. I'm standing at the bus stop. Nobody there, just me. The thing about this is that this man's face is like permanently engraved in my mind. And this is why I say I don't want to tell like stories like this. I really try to stay away from these type of stories because I'm about to tear up, and I don't want to. This is okay. I'm so sorry. Okay, so there's nobody there but me, and so the guy, he comes to me and he's like, "Oh, I see you every night." So I'm just like, not saying anything. He says it again. He says he sees me at this bus stop every night. All I smell is cigarettes and Hennessy, because at the first initial encounter I didn't look at him. So he said it again. I look at my phone. My last bus isn't gonna come for the next 30 minutes. So walking distance from the bus, okay, Walking from the bus stop to my house would have been at least probably like a 15 to 20 minute walk. But if the bus came at the time that I was at the bus stop, it would be like a 5-minute bus ride, right? So the bus isn't coming for another 30 minutes. Mind you, at the time, it's literally about 2 in the morning. So that's pretty much expected. Also, when you take the bus that late, the city bus that late, and you're the last person on the bus takes you as close to your house as possible. So when I get on that bus, the bus driver, I would sit in the front, the bus driver would ask, where do you live? And I literally live on the strip of the bus lane anyway. So he would literally stop at that very block, and I would cross the street and walk in my house. So I'm standing there. He said it again. And this is like the 3rd time now. So I just walk away. I just start walking because I'm like, I'm not, there's no talk to conversation. Okay, you said you see me every night. You said it 3 times. I don't know what you want me to say back to you. Like, at this point, I don't get it, and I'm not understanding why you have to let me know this for the 3rd time at this point. Now, I'm walking. He proceeds to follow me as I'm walking. I'm texting my ex. I was with him at the time. I'm telling him everything that is happening. The man is behind me. He's walking. And then he like makes his way in front of me. Now we're face to face. And he says it again. I be seeing you every night. My response was, so what? Like, that's what I said. I said, so what? So then he was like, oh, so you're not going to say nothing to me? You're not going to say anything? In that matter at that time, all I was thinking about, like, what exactly do you want me to say? Like, okay. Like, I just, whatever. Because at this point in my life, at this particular time in my life that I'm older, it's like, women, we have to just go through so much for no reason at all. And it's really sad, and it's just terrible. So now he's telling me, okay, you don't want to talk to me? You think you Hollywood? That's what you thinking you is? You think you Hollywood? You think you too good for me? I just walk away, and he grabs my arm. And he's like, where the fuck you think you going? And I tell him, can you please get off of me? And he was like, nah, I'm not getting off of you. Where you think you're going? So I'm just like, at this particular time, it's 2:30. Like, what exactly do you want? Like, and on top of that, I could tell he was drunk. Maybe even a little high. But he held onto my arm so tight. I started to fear for my life. So I pull away and I just started walking faster. And this is where things for me become so like, I'm fighting for my life at this point. So he comes back, he grabs me, and he tries to kiss me. And I'm like, I mush his face because literally he tried to like kiss me. So I mush his face. So now he was like, oh, you think you too good for me? You think you too good? I see you every day. I see you every day. I know where you coming from. He pushes me to the ground. there's at where he pushes me, it's like I could remember everything so vivid, the smell, everything. Like, so he pushed me to the ground. I fell into, like, it was like at that area, that house that I walked by, they have a lot of bushes, they have a tree, and like berries is coming, like berries is falling off the ground. I mean, falling on the ground. So he pushes me to the ground, and now he's like, he comes on top of me. He's basically like kissing me on my neck. He's feeling on me. He put his hand on my dress. And like he was trying to like insert himself inside me, and like the whole time it's like a fight. Like, I'm literally fighting for my life at this point, because all I think in my head is like, I'm not gonna let this man just take me like this. I'm not gonna let him do this to me, especially not out in the damn street. Like, it's like at that time I'm like, where I'm screaming, I am screaming out for help. There is nobody around. I am screaming out. Nobody is nowhere. And I am screaming for, like, help me, help me. Like, I'm even saying it. This man is trying to arm me. Like, he's like, and nobody. And like, I don't understand when things like this happen. Like, there's so many times when instances is going on, even when like you see a woman and her man arguing, and the man like hits her, do something to her, and people is around, nobody says nothing. Nobody says a word. Everybody just turns a blind eye, like, oh, I'm just gonna mind my business. And it's like, I feel like that is such a sick trait, because it's like, on one hand, they be, a lot of guys be like, oh, I don't know her, she's not my sister, she's not nobody to me, so I'm not gonna jump in and help her out with her nigga, and then her nigga and her turn around and try to jump me for not minding my business. And the thing is, there is a man on top of me. I am out in the street. I am on the sidewalk on a main road. There is a few cars passing by, and nobody stopped. Nobody stopped. I'm texting my boyfriend, and he can't even get to me quick enough. So this is happening, right? Literally, he ripped my bra. Like, it was a fight. Like, he was trying, like, I'm trying to like keep my composure and tell this story to the best of my abilities, because all I want to do right now is I want to break down and cry, because every time I told this is the second time I'm telling this story, because I told it to my now boyfriend, and now I'm telling it to you guys. So we're fighting. I literally bit him for him to get off of me. Okay, I almost took this man's flesh out. How hard I bit him, because he tried to kiss me and I bit him in the face. He kept trying to kiss me. First he tried to kiss me on my lips. Then he pushed me to the ground. Then he was kissing me all over. Then he tried to kiss me on my lips again. And that is how I was able to bite him in the face. So as I do that, he finally, like, he's so, like, I guess, mad at me. He, like, punched me in the side. So now he did that, but it hurt. But I was still able to get up. So as I get up, and I'm like running down the block now. Like, I'm literally running down the block in my sandals. And this man is freaking chasing me. He is freaking chasing me. I run so, I don't even know how. But I was running, and I ran into a store. I run into the store. And the man, he's like, what's going on? What's wrong with you? I tell him there's somebody following me. He's following me. He just pushed me to the ground. And he sees how dirty I look, like from rolling all in the freaking dirt. And he went outside. He was like, but he don't see the guy. He doesn't see the man. So now I asked the store owner. He asked me what he looked like, and I told him to a T what he looks like. But as he went outside, he doesn't see him. So I say, can I just stand here until my bus comes? And he's like, yeah, you can stay here till the bus comes. So the bus finally comes. He escorts me on the bus. I get on the bus. I look a freaking mess. The bus driver looks at me and he's like, ma'am, are you okay? And I said, no. As I'm waiting for the bus, I got assaulted by a random man waiting on the bus, waiting to go home. And he asked me, like, what do I want to do? And at the time, I just said, I just want to go home. Like, that's what I said. I said, I just want to go home. So he dropped me, like, all the time. Not the same bus driver, but they always do it near as close as your destination you could get. So I get in my house, and my grandmother, what she does when I was working is she would wait for me to get home. She wouldn't go to sleep until I was in the house, and I was always the last one in the house because I always had to close. So I get in the house, and she looked at me and she was like, why you look so dirty? And I said, because a man tried to rape me. Like, me and him was rolling around in the dirt. And the crazy thing is, like, you hear about certain things like this happening on the news, but it's like when it's like you hear, like, okay, women get assaulted and like stories and stuff like that on the news, but then when something like that really happens to you, it's like a serious wake-up call. And my grandmother was so mad because she would always tell me how I need to quit working out there. It's too far. How many times she literally would call me on shift and tell them they need to let you go home now. And I would tell her that, like, I can't go home because I'll lose my job. And then she said, you need to find a job closer. And I was looking for somewhere closer to my house to work, but there was nowhere hiring, and I didn't know where else to go. So I'm telling her what happened. I take a shower. I tell my grandfather what happened. And he basically gave me something to protect myself for if things like this happen, because he told me, you need to quit that job. You need to quit that job because I don't want to hear when I turn on the news, that's your face I'm seeing as a missing person, as a missing girl. So you need to quit that job. So I that was like literally, I didn't quit, but I called my manager and I asked them, can I please get earlier shifts? And the manager that makes the schedule, she granted it. And I actually, because she asked me why, and I told her what happened. And she was like, what, so you didn't call the police? And I said, honestly, at the time, I was just so shaken up. I just wanted to go home. Like, that's all I wanted to do was go home. And a lot of times, I feel like in the black community, we have this thing where it's like, oh, we ain't getting the police involved. We ain't getting the police involved. We're going to do it the hood way, like hood justice and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not the way to go about things. Because this is not the first time something like this has happened to me. And it's like, you should get the proper authorities involved so that the person knows. But the thing is, I don't know this man's name. I don't know this man's age. I don't know where he comes from. I don't know nothing about him but what he looks like. And to this day, if I seen this man walking on the street, I would point him out, because this man's face is permanently embedded in my brain. And it's like, it's crazy because I seen him again in the daytime. While I was on the bus going to work, I seen him again on that same bus route that I was waiting for, but it was earlier. And I seen him, and I just held my head down, because I was praying, like, I hope me and this man don't make no eye contact, even though I'm on the bus and he's walking. And I went to work, and I said, God, please, I don't want to ever bump into this man again. I don't ever want to bump into this man again. I don't ever want to bump into no other man like this again. So, like, I eventually quit working out there. I didn't have to take that crazy ass route no more. And I found another job, but when things happen, this goes for men, women, say something right away. Because this was the only time that I've been assaulted and I said something right away. But thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and be a part of the gang that is good. Until next time, Goodie Gang.